Welcome to this yoga session this evening. My name is Justin Poole. I am the artist in residence at Asbury United Methodist Church. And today I'm going to take you through a moderate yoga session. So we're going to do a whole body workout tonight. So let's go ahead and find a place somewhere on your mat. And if you can lay back on your backs and close your eyes, that would be a good place to start. So as you lie down on your mat with your eyes closed, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Keep breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Pretend you're lying somewhere comfortable, warm, maybe a beach, maybe a meadow somewhere, maybe it's right where you are on your mat. And with each exhalation of breath, you're going to bring one more muscle group down into the ground. Just going to breathe and relax. Trust the ground to hold you up. While laying down on your mat and your eyes closed, you're going to continue to breathe and relax your muscles into the ground, making yourself present right here in this moment. I'd like to begin practice with a verse or a thought, a quote, to help center our practice a little bit. In Sunday school this week, my class read had a lesson about anxiety, and I think in light of the current situation we're in, where there's so much anxiety in the air, it's good to be reminded of Paul's final exhortations found in Philippians 4. He says this: "Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." So if you would like to set an intent for this practice, perhaps set the intent to ease your anxiety and to relax that anxiety away as you find yourself being present in each moment, more fully engaged in your bodies and your breath on the yoga mat tonight. Gradually make your way to a seated position on your mat. You can face the camera, face the front like this, or you can come to the side. I'm going to come to the side right like this. It's probably better if you face the front. I'm going to come to the side just to demonstrate a little bit here. And you're going to come back onto your sacrum here, and you're going to balance yourself right here. So you're going to lift your heels off the ground a little bit. You're going to bring your shoulders back and down, and you're going to bring your chest up. And then you're going to lengthen your legs and then stretch your arms, your hands, your fingertips forward into a boat. We're going to start with the hard ones today. So you're going to lift those legs up higher, lift that chest up more. And you're going to slowly lower down on 3, 2, 1, but don't go all the way to the ground. Come back up We're going to do that twice more. You're going to lower down. 3, 2, 1. Back up. One more time. 3, 2, 1. Back up. And as you come up, still balancing on your sacrum, you're going to cross your feet and your ankles. And you're going to push the ground away with your hands and see if you can kind of hover your butt off the ground a little bit here. And if you can do that, see if you can stretch your feet forward. It's a little intense. So now we're going to come back and you're going to roll back and forth in your spine a little bit. Just going back and forth. So if you're on a carpet, this will feel really good. If you have a nice padded mat, this will also feel good. If you're on hardwood floor, it might not feel so good. So you can always feel free to back off. Just back and forth a little bit. And again, you can adjust it. You don't have to be quite so violent with it, quite so crazy with it. Back and forth. And maybe the last time you do it, maybe build up enough momentum so that you can come forward onto the balls of your feet. Now, once on the balls of your feet, you can gradually prep for crow. We're going to be doing crow a little bit later in this practice. It's going to be a moderate practice today, a little bit more intense than a gentle practice. So push the ground away with your hands, come forward a little bit, and then you can use the outer part of your upper arms right here as a shelf and bring your knees up towards your armpits here, and then lean forward, and then bring your left foot off the ground. Bring that left foot back down. Lean forward, and then bring your right foot off the ground here. I'll demonstrate from the side here. Now, if you feel really comfortable and confident in this pose here, then you can think about lifting both of your feet off the ground. That's crow. Just kind of practice with that a little bit. If it feels good, do it. If it doesn't feel good, you can back off. You can always just kind of hang out and yogi squat like this. So yogi squat, your feet are planted into the ground, your toes are pointing out. Once you've practiced that pose a little bit, then meet me right here in the yogi squat pose. Now in yogi squat, if you can really plug your feet into the ground here, lengthen through your spine more, and then push the insides of both your legs away a little bit with your elbows here. Hands at heart center in prayer pose. So you should feel a stretch through the inner part of your upper legs. Now bring your right hand down into the ground, plug that into the ground, and then lift your left hand up. And then you pop up off the ground just a little bit and bring your gaze up to your upper fingertips. Bring that back down. Plug your left hand into the ground, bring your right hand up. Gaze goes up. Bring that back down. This time we're going to do a little bind here. And if you want to go a little further with the bind, we'll do a bird of paradise pose. So you're going to push the ground away with your right hand. Lift your left hand up. Then bring your left hand down and back underneath your left leg, your upper left leg. Bring your right hand up, back. Clasp your hands underneath that upper left leg and bring your gaze up. If you want to go further, bring your weight to the right side and lift your left leg up. If you want to go even further, some of you are more capable of this than others, than me. You can Unbend your left knee in the bird of paradise. Slowly come out of that pose, come back into a yogi squat to rest. Put your left hand into the ground. Bring your right fingertips up. Bring your right hand down underneath your upper right leg. Reach back with your left hand, clasp your hands behind you, look up, and bird of paradise on this side if you feel comfortable. And if you don't, stay where you are, or meet me back in yogi squat. Think about unbending that knee. Gradually come out of that pose. Hang out here. If you want to try another round of crow, feel free. And you're going to stand up. Bring your feet so they're about a few inches to the right and to the left of the outside of the mat. Toes pointing out. Actually, bring your toes so they're pointing in. Pointing in just a little bit that way. You're going to bring your shoulders back and down. You're going to open up your palms to the front of the room. And you're going to slowly move your bottom back. Bring your back so it's parallel with the ground. And pretend that you're holding this imaginary giant beach ball in between your hands. So you're pushing in a little bit here into that imaginary beach ball with your hands. Back parallel with the ground. Bringing your bottom back, lengthening through your spine here. And breathe. Come out of that. Then you're going to take your left fingertips and you're going to bring those left fingertips to your right knee. And you're going to put your right fingertips up.
Push start video. That'll show you. They can't see you. I don't know if they can hear you.
Come back out of that. And then bring your right fingertips to your left ankle. And bring your left fingertips up and look up. Come back, holding that giant beach ball. Really engage your core here, your back muscles, your arm muscles, feeling a little stretch in your legs as well. And then you're going to bend down and you're going to grab both of your ankles with your right and with your left hand. And you can kind of pull your ankles towards you. Come out of that pose. You're going to move your toes so they're pointing out here. You're going to bend your knees. And you're going to sit down a little bit here. And bring your hands into this pose. Called this goddess pose. Plug your shoulders down a little bit. Hang out here for 2 long breaths. And we're going to flow through a little bit here. You're going to go up, maybe on an inhale. Down, maybe on an exhale. Up. Down. Take it at your own pace. Do about 5 or 6 more of these. Maybe 1 or 2 more. Meet me back down in goddess pose right here. Come out of that pose. Bring your feet back onto the mat, so your feet are about 2 fists apart from each other. We'll do a couple quick balance poses here on the side. So gradually move your weight to the right side of your body and lift your left leg up, bend your left knee. Use your right hand to counterbalance you. Open up to the left side here. Bring it back. Come on down. Gradually move your weight to the opposite side, to the left side. Bring that knee up. Clasp that knee with your right hand. Use your left hand, left arm to stabilize. Open up your knee to the right side of the room. Mirroring me. Bring it back. Bring it down. Now bring your weight back over to the right side. Lift up your leg, and you can either put your left foot just below your knee or just above your knee, but not on your knee. You're going to plug that into the side of your leg, and you're going to lift up your hands into a tree pose. Very standard yoga pose right here. Good for balance, focus, concentration, leg strength. Say that yoga even helps you if you have flat feet. Build more of an arch in your foot. Gradually come out of that pose and bring your weight into the opposite foot. And if you're just joining us, if you could mute your microphone.
Probably have to get more shingles for the porch roof.
You can mute your microphone and
Tell her it's
again at the very end.
I put a whole pack of shingles, I think, down in Steve's shop.
Gradually come out of that pose. You're going to stretch your fingertips all the way up, clasp your hands together above your head, plug your shoulders down and back. Bring your weight to the right side. Bring your left hip over the left side. And then come over to the opposite side. Back up. And then bend your back. And then come on down into a high plank pose. You're going to hold this for 2 more breaths. And then you're going to slowly lower down on 3, 2, 1, onto your bellies. Now you can stay oriented towards the front. I'm just going to come onto my side to demonstrate a little bit here. What you're going to do is you're going to keep either your right cheek or your left cheek plugged into the ground here. Tops of your feet plugged into the ground.
How do I get him off?
Who?
The Zoom.
And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to lift your chest, your chin off the ground, and your legs off the ground as well. Come into a locust pose. And slowly come out of that pose. Rest on one side of your face or another. Come back up into a locust. Stretch your fingertips forward like you're flying. Come up higher with your fingertips, with your hands, with your chest, with your legs. And breathe deeply. And come out of that pose. Now lift up your right leg and reach back and clasp your right ankle with your right hand. And bring the right side of your body up off the ground a little bit here. half bow pose here. And then come out of that pose and rest for a moment. Bring the left leg up, grab your left ankle with your left hand, come up on the opposite side. Come on down. Now this time we're just going to do a little sequence. You're going to come on up into a locust. You're going to stretch your arms forward, super person. You're going to stretch your hands, your arms back. You're going to grab your ankles with your hands, and you're going to come up into full bow pose. Then you're going to come over onto your left side, and you're going to stretch those feet towards your back. A little bit more, a little bit deeper. And then you're going to roll over to the other side and stretch those heels towards your back. And then come back over your belly and come up high. And come out of it. Rest for a moment on one side of the face or the other. Bring your hands to either side of your chest, push the ground away, bend your knees, and come back. Bring your bottom towards your heels in child's pose. So create length in your spine, work your fingertips forward a little bit, bring your bottom down towards your heels. Bring your fingertips over to the left side and bring your right hip down and feel a stretch through the right side of your body here. So resist the urge to bring that right hip up. Plug it down, feel a stretch. Bring your fingertips to the right side. Plug that left hip down, feel a stretch to the left side of your torso. Bring your fingertips forward again. And this is child's pose. This is a good pose to go to if you feel like you need a rest, you need a break, you need to hang out for a while, or do something else. From here, come forward into a high plank. You're going to lower down slowly, and then come on into a cobra. So push the ground away with the tops of your feet. Your legs are pushed into the ground, pelvis and ground. Try to bring your shoulders back and down and gaze up. Cobra pose. If you want more intense of a stretch, then what you can do is you can move the tops of your feet again so they're in the ground, but move your pelvis up a little bit so it's hovering a little bit off the ground and you're getting a deeper back stretch here. Up dog. Plug the balls of your feet into the ground, come into a downward facing dog. Bottom goes up and back. I'm bending my knees right here. I'm bringing my bottom up and back, so I'm creating more length in my spine. And then I'm only thinking about bringing my heels down into the ground. And if it's comfortable for you and you have a nice flat back, you can bring your heels into the ground, feel a great stretch through the back of your legs. But if it rounds your back a little bit, you can back off and create more length in your back by bending your knees. We're going to flow through 3 times. You're going to bend your knees. You're going to step or jump forward. You're going to halfway lift so that your back is parallel to the ground. Forward fold. Come all the way up. Come back down. Step or jump back. High plank, lower down. Up dog, a cobra. downward dog. Step or jump forward, halfway lift, forward fold, all the way up, swan dive down, chest goes down, step or jump back, high plank, lower down, up dog or cobra, downward dog, one more time, step or jump forward, halfway lift, lower fold, all the way up, swan dive down, come back, high plank, lower down, up dog or cobra, meet me in child's pose. Come back into a downward facing dog. Bend your knees and you're going to jump forward and keep your legs together. Bring your legs and your feet together and sit back into an imaginary chair or throne. Chair pose. Come all the way up. Hands back up, swan dive down, step or jump back. Flow through at your own pace, up dog or cobra. Meet us in downward dog. One more chair pose, bend your knees, step or jump forward. Come on up, sit down into your throne. From here, you can hang out in chair or you can go right down into a crow. Gradually come out of crow. If you were in crow, come back down into a chair. Come all the way up. And swan dive back down and step or jump back. High plank, lower down. Up dog or cobra, downward dog. Bring your left leg up. Three-legged dog. Push up higher with that left foot. Send that left foot forward in between your hands. Bring the ball of your right foot to the ground and come on up into a high lunge. Bring the outside of your back foot so it's parallel with the back of the mat. Open up into warrior two. Maybe walk those toes forward a little bit, sink deeper into that front knee. Gaze towards the front of the room, or towards the side, or diagonally, that's fine too. We're gonna flow through a little bit with reverse warrior, extended side angle. So palm goes up, and reverse the warrior, bring your gaze up, bring your front palm back a little bit. And then on your exhale, come down to an extended side angle. So bring your forearm here down on the top of your upper left leg. And then bring your right hand up. So your right arm is creating a nice diagonal right here. So there's the diagonal line from the outside of your outer right foot all the way up, out through your right fingertips, and gaze goes up. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Do it twice more at your own pace. Come back into warrior two. Cartwheel your hands down. Step that front foot back and up. And then circle that right leg around a little bit. Open up your hips to the left side of the room. And then bend your left knee. And now bring that down and flow through. High plank, lower down. Up dog or cobra, downward dog. Step your right foot up now. Bring your right foot forward in between your hands. Ball of your left foot into the ground. Come on up into a high lunge on this side. Bring the outside of your back foot so it's parallel with the back of the mat. Open up into warrior two, opposite side now, facing the left side of the room. And we're going to flow through a little bit, reverse warrior, extended side angle, reverse warrior, extended side angle. At your own pace, 2 or 3 more times. Back into warrior two. And cartwheel your hands down and flow through. Meet me in downward dog. Bend your knees now, and you're going to come forward and lay down on your mat. Feet are plugged into the ground, and your knees are up towards the ceiling. Keep your left foot into the ground here, and bring your right foot off the ground, and then cross your right ankle over the top of your upper right leg. So your right knee is kind of pointing out in this direction here to the right side. And you're feeling a little bit of stretch through the outer part of your upper right leg. Hang out here for just a little bit. And then reach with your right hand, your right arm, reach through that little hole between your legs. Reach to your shin, and then reach with your left hand as well, and clasp your hands together at your left or your left shin. And pull your left shin towards you, feeling an even deeper stretch through the outer part of that upper right leg. Gradually come out of that pose, bring your right foot down, bring your left foot up, and then cross that over on the opposite side now. So your left ankle is now resting on your upper right leg. And with your left hand, reach through your legs, and your right hand reach forward. Clasp your hands at your shin, and then pull your right shin towards you. Feel the stretch through the outside of your upper left leg now. Gradually come out of that pose. Bring your hands so they're crossing like at a T right here. So your right fingertips going to the right, left fingertips going to the left. And your feet are about 2 fists apart. You're just going to do windshield wipers here with your legs. Your shins are like windshield wipers in a car. And you're just going to go bring your knees to the left, bring your knees to the right, bring your knees to the left, bring your knees to the right. Just go back and forth a few times. And then relax here for a moment. Now what we just did is a prep for a pigeon pose. So now we're going to do a pigeon pose. So you're going to come back down onto your mat. You're going to come into a downward facing dog pose again. You're going to bring your left leg up and back. Bend your left knee, open up to the left side of the room, and then take your left knee to your left wrist. And then bring your right leg so it's straight back. And feel a stretch through the outside of your upper right leg in particular, right through here. And if you want to go deeper, you can bring your forearms down to the ground here. If you want to go even deeper, you can stretch out your fingertips in front of you, bring your forehead down towards the ground. If you feel this in your knee, if there's pain there, then back off. Maybe just go right into child's pose. But if this feels good, if you feel the stretch in the right place, then go further. Maybe one more breath down here. And then gradually work your hands up. Hands are about 2 fists apart from each other. Bring the ball of your right foot into the ground and then kick that left leg up and circle it around a few times. And if you want to, open up your hips to the left side of the room, and you could even flip over and say hi to the computer. Or just flow right on through. Up dog, cobra, downward dog. Bring your right foot up. Bend your right knee. Bring your right knee to your right wrist. And we're doing pigeon on the opposite side now. Again, you can bring your forearms into the ground. You can just keep your hands plugged into the ground here if that's good. Or you can bring your fingertips forward, bring your forehead down into the ground. Breathe here, relax into it. Slowly come out of that pose. Push the ground away, bring the ball of your left foot into the ground, kick that right foot up, circle it around, bend your right knee, open up to the right side. You can flip that dog, or you can just flow right on through. Up dog or cobra, downward dog. And then you're going to step forward or jump forward and then come back onto your back here. Now bring your feet so your feet are touching each other, and your right knee goes to the right side, your left knee goes to the left side, hip opener here. Just hang out here for a little bit. Bring your knees back up and do the windshield wipers just a little bit, back and forth. And then we're going to come on up into a bridge pose. So bridge pose, you're going to push the ground away with your feet, bring your pelvis up, and then walk your hands, your arms behind you, clasp your hands at the base of your sacrum here, the base of your spine, and really move your pelvis up towards the ceiling. So you're feeling the weight in the upper part of your back and in your legs, in your feet. Your knee, your neck and your head are just kind of sitting nice and loose there. Keep your gaze up. Gradually come out of that pose, bring your knees to your chest. Bring your knees to the left side. Bring your fingertips and your arms and your gaze to the right side for a spinal twist. So your fingertips are going in the opposite direction of your knees and your legs. And then use your left hand to kind of coax that right leg down a little bit more towards the left leg, more towards the left side of your body, towards the ground. Feel an even deeper stretch. Bring your knees back up and then over to the right side. Bring your gaze and your fingertips and your arms to the left side. Use your right hand to coax your left leg down a little bit here, a deeper stretch, deeper spinal twist. Come out of that pose and then bring your feet back into the ground here. And you can either do a bridge pose or you can do a wheel pose. So wheel pose is slightly more strenuous. You're going to bring your hands so they're about at the same plane as your ears. And then you're going to point your fingertips towards your toes. And you're going to gradually maybe walk your feet a little bit closer towards your bottom. And you're going to push the ground away with your feet and your hands and bring your belly up. Wheel. So either do this or do a bridge again or just hang out. Hold it for one more breath. And come out of it, do a counter pose, bring your knees to your chest. Circle your legs around a little bit here. Come on into a happy baby for your final pose, or one of your final poses. Grab the outside of your right foot, the outside of your left foot with your left hand, the outside of your right foot with your right hand. Put your feet so they're towards the sky, towards the ceiling here. And just kind of sway back and forth a little bit like a baby does. Happy baby. Gradually come out of that pose, and if there's any last pose you want to do, if you want to stretch out in any last way, feel free. And then make your way slowly into Shavasana, corpse pose, where you're lying on your back, relaxing your muscles into the ground, just as we began our practice today. Maybe breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. With each exhalation of breath, bring one more muscle group down deeper into the ground, trusting that the ground is holding you. You don't need to do any work here. I'll end this practice with the same verses that I began with from Philippians 4, the words of Paul. Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all, the Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. gradually come onto your side. Make your way to a seated position. And thank you all for joining me today. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions in the future. Namaste. Thank you.